Thousands of Americans might lose $2,400 this month unless they do this before November ends. I started this channel for one reason: to protect people like you from fake promises and false Social Security news. Here, you'll get real updates that actually affect your benefits and your future. Subscribe now because this channel is for you, not for the system. Have you ever received a message that made your heart jump? Something that said urgent. Do this before end of November or lose your $2,400 Social Security benefits. Maybe it came through email, text message, or even a phone call. You read it and immediately felt worried. Could this be real? Are you really about to lose money that you depend on? Let me ask you something right now. How many of you have seen a message like this? If you have, you're not alone. And I want to help you understand what's actually happening here because this is one of the biggest scams targeting people right now. My name is your trusted guide through the confusing world of Social Security benefits and online scams. Today, we're going to break down this urgent-sounding message together. We'll talk about what's real, what's fake, and most importantly, how to protect yourself and your benefits. I know Social Security can be confusing enough without people out there trying to trick you. So let's make this simple and clear. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot these scams and keep your benefits safe. Are you ready? Let's dive in. First, let me tell you what is actually true about Social Security payments in November. This part is important because scammers mix real information with false information. The Social Security Administration, or SSA, does have a real payment schedule for November 2025. If you receive retirement benefits, disability benefits, or survivor benefits, your payment comes on specific dates. Some people get paid on November 3rd, others on November 12th, November 19th, or November 26th. Which date you get paid depends on when you were born. This is real and it's true. The Social Security Administration publishes this schedule publicly, so everyone knows when to expect their money. Now, there's another group called Supplemental Security Income Recipients, or SSI. These are people who receive extra help because they have very low income and very few resources. For these people, something interesting happened in November 2025. Because November 1st fell on a Saturday, the SSA moved their payment to Friday, October 31st. This happens sometimes when a regular payment date falls on a weekend. Nothing scary about this. It's just normal scheduling. These are the facts that are true. The payments are happening. The schedule is real. The SSA is paying people as planned. But here's where things get dangerous. Scammers take these real facts and twist them. They add urgency. They make you panic. They create fake deadlines. They tell you that you need to do something right now or you'll lose $2,400. And this is where we need to stop and think critically. Have you ever wondered why a government agency would send you an urgent message about losing a specific amount like $2,400? Why not $2,300 or $2,500? Why that exact number? Let me tell you something important. There is no credible evidence from the Social Security Administration that you need to do anything by the end of November to keep your benefits. This is not real. The SSA has not announced any new requirement. No special action needed. No deadline for November. When scammers send these messages, they're counting on you being scared and not thinking clearly. They want you to panic so much that you click a link, call a number they provide, or give them personal information. Fear is their weapon, and it works on a lot of people. Now let's talk about that specific amount, $2,400. This is interesting because this number doesn't match how Social Security actually works. The average monthly Social Security benefit for a retired worker is different. Some people get more, some get less. But $2,400 isn't some magic number that the SSA has designated as being in danger. It's not a standard benefit amount that suddenly became threatened. The fact that scammers use this specific number is actually suspicious. It makes the scam feel real to people who might be receiving something close to that amount. If you get $2,300, you might think, oh, they meant me. If you get $2,500, you might think, close enough. This is how they hook people. Think about this. When was the last time you got an urgent message from the government? Real government agencies don't usually communicate this way. They don't send panicked messages. They send official notices through official channels. The Social Security Administration doesn't text you. They don't email you urgent warnings like some kind of alarm. They know people's official address from their Social Security records, so they send important information through the mail. When someone calls you about Social Security, how do you really know it's them? You don't. That's the point. Scammers can pretend to be anyone on the phone. Here's what I want you to understand about scams like this. They follow a pattern. First, they get your attention with fear. You're going to lose money. Second, they create urgency. Do this before the end of November. Third, they offer a solution, usually by clicking a link or calling a number. Fourth, they trick you into giving personal information or money. That's the trap. The end of November is chosen as a deadline because it sounds official and close enough to make people act fast. They're counting on the fact that it's already late November, so people think they don't have much time. Can you see how this works? Many cybersecurity experts and official alert organizations have noticed these headlines and flagged them as scams. Articles from trusted sources have investigated these claims and found no evidence of any real requirement from the SSA. In fact, these rumor-style messages are part of a bigger problem. People spread false information about stimulus payments, extra checks, or special benefits that don't actually exist. Some people share these messages thinking they're helping others. They don't realize they're spreading scams. They forward the message to family and friends, then those people forward it to their friends. Within days, thousands of people believe something that isn't true. Let me ask you something important. Have you ever received a message from Social Security that felt off? Something that didn't quite seem right? What was your first reaction? Did you feel scared? Did you want to act immediately? That's actually a good instinct because it means you're thinking about your benefits. But it's also exactly what scammers are counting on. They want that first emotional reaction before you have time to think clearly. So, what should you actually do to protect your Social Security benefits first? And this is really important. Go to the official website. Type in ssa.gov in your browser yourself. Don't click any links from messages claiming to be from Social Security. Go directly to the official site. You can log into your Social Security account online. Once you're logged in, you can see your benefit type, whether it's retirement, disability, or survivor benefits. You can see your payment amount. You can see your payment schedule. This is the truth. This is what you should trust. Second, if you can't access the website or you prefer to talk to someone, call the Social Security Administration directly at their real number. It's 1-800-772-1213. Get this number from the official website or from your previous Social Security paperwork. Don't call a number from an email or text message. Don't call a number from that urgent message. The official number is the only one you should use. When you call, you can ask questions about your specific benefits, your payment schedule, or anything that concerns you. Real SSA employees will be happy to help. Third, make sure your personal information with Social Security is current and correct. Make sure they have your right address, your right bank account if you get direct deposit, and your right phone number. Sometimes scammers can't affect your payments directly, but they can cause delays if your information is wrong. Having correct information ensures you get paid on time. Updated information also helps you catch fraud if something happens. If someone tries to change your information, you'll notice it because you have current information on file. Fourth, and this is crucial, be extremely careful about any message that creates urgency around your benefits. If you get an email, text message, or call that says you must act by a certain date or lose your benefits, stop. Think, is this how the SSA normally contacts me? Would they really send such an urgent warning? The answer is usually no. Real SSA communications are clear, official, and they don't pressure you into immediate action. They explain things calmly. They give you time to respond. Scammers are the ones who create panic. Let me give you some warning signs to watch for. First, Watch out for unusual emails or messages from addresses you don't recognize claiming to be Social Security. The real SSA might contact you by mail, but they won't create artificial urgency in a text message or email. Second, be suspicious of links and messages asking you to verify your account or confirm your information. The real SSA won't ask you to click a link to protect your benefits. Third, if someone calls you claiming to be from Social Security and threatens to take away your benefits unless you do something immediately, this is almost certainly a scam. Real government agencies don't work this way. Fourth, if anyone asks for your Social Security number over the phone or email out of the blue, be very careful. The SSA already has your Social Security number. They won't call asking for it. Now, let's talk about what happens if you've already been targeted by one of these scams. Maybe you clicked a link, maybe you called a number, maybe you gave personal information. First, don't panic. You're not alone, and there are steps you can take. Call the real Social Security Administration right away at 1-800-77-21213. Tell them what happened. They can help you figure out if anything was compromised. Second, check your Social Security account online to make sure no one has changed your information. Third, consider placing a fraud alert or credit freeze with the credit bureaus if you gave out serious personal information like your Social Security number or bank details. These steps can help protect you from identity theft. Fourth, report the scam to the official agencies. You can report it to the Social Security Administration's Office of Inspector General. You can also report it to the Federal Trade Commission. These organizations track scams and try to stop them. Here's something I want you to remember about how these scams work. Overall, they rely on three things. They rely on your fear of losing something important. They rely on urgency, making you skip your normal thinking process. And they rely on people not knowing where to find real information. When you know these three things, you can protect yourself. When fear appears, stop and think. When someone creates urgency, slow down. When you need information, go to official sources. Think about your own situation for a moment. How much do you depend on your Social Security benefits? For many people, these benefits are their primary income. They count on that money every month to pay rent, buy food, and cover medical expenses. The idea that you could lose this money is terrifying. That's why scammers use this tactic. They know how much this matters. But here's the thing. Social Security benefits are protected. The government isn't going to randomly take them away without a good reason. There's a legal process for changes to benefits. It happens slowly through official channels with official notices. It doesn't happen because you didn't click a link before November 30th. I want to end by talking about what you should do right now today. If you haven't already, go online to ssa.gov when you get a chance. Take a few minutes to create or log into your account. See what your benefit amount is. See your payment schedule. Get familiar with what your real information looks like. This way, if you ever get a suspicious message, you'll know immediately that it's wrong. You'll compare it to what you know. You'll notice the discrepancies. You'll be protected. Share this information with family and friends. If you know older people who might not be online, talk to them about these scams. Tell them to be suspicious of urgent messages about Social Security. Tell them to call you if they get something that seems off. Tell them to never give personal information to someone who calls them about their benefits. These conversations matter. They save people from losing money and having their identity stolen. Remember, protecting your Social Security benefits is about being informed and being careful. It's not about being paranoid. It's about knowing the difference between real information and fake information. It's about going to official sources. It's about understanding that if something sounds too urgent, it probably is. Most importantly, it's about knowing that you're not alone in finding this confusing. These scams trick millions of people because they're designed to be convincing. But now that you know what to look for, you're protected. The Social Security Administration is paying people their benefits in November as scheduled. There's no end-of-month deadline. There's no $2,400 benefit you're about to lose. That's a scam. Your real benefits are safe as long as you take basic precautions. Update your information. Verify messages through official channels and never give personal information based on an urgent message. Do these things and you'll be fine. Your benefits will come like they always do. You'll be safe. So tell me, will you take these steps to protect yourself? Will you go to the official website and check your information? Will you share this with someone you know? Someone. If you can say yes to these things, then you're already protecting yourself and the people around you. That's what matters. That's how we stop these scams. Thank you for listening. And remember, when something sounds too urgent, it usually